Hi, I'm happy to welcome you to participate in this webinar today from the University of Colorado Boulder. We have a presentation today on the Interdisciplinary Telecommunications program, and I'm happy to communicate to you the features of this program for master's study, and hope that you'll learn something about what we're offering here. And if you have questions, that you'll follow up, and I'd be happy to answer those questions for you. So we are affiliated with the University of Colorado, which is the flagship university for the state of Colorado. We offer master's degrees and PhDs in telecommunications. And what is telecommunications today? It's more than telephony, which is historically what telecom has been, but it encompasses some really forward-reaching elements of the industry: security, network operations, network management, wireless, and we combine all of that together with an interdisciplinary approach. The interdisciplinary approach pulls technology, economics, and business together to create a holistic experience for our students so that they can take this knowledge into the workforce. Well, how do I know what I'm talking about? Because I'm the Deputy Director of the graduate program here, and what we're featuring today is a focus on our distance learning options. We have two areas of study that we have been able to translate into a distance opportunity. The first of which is network security, and the second is telecommunications policy and strategy. So I'm Elizabeth Golder. I have been in this role for 9 years. And I came from Washington, D.C., where I worked at the Carlyle Group, which at the time was a private equity investment firm. It's now gone public. And I've worked for two former chairmen of the Federal Communications Commission, Bill Kennard and Reed Hunt. And that was surely a lesson in diplomacy and working with folks who know deeply how to manage and lead telecommunications and regulation in the United States. My role in the program today is lots of student advising, historical and institutional knowledge about the program, support for faculty, and marketing components. So, jack of all trades within the program, but certainly open to answer questions, and if I don't know the answers, find the resource to have your questions answered. So why would you choose ITP? We help students to master the latest internet technologies. We have a focus in our wireless components of software-defined radio. We have our network engineering components that have hands-on training. Over 200 hours is put in by students when they're in the network telecommunications lab. Now, I mention these things first, and they are not distance components. But should you decide that coming to Boulder is in your future, those are two other options that we have academically, besides others I'll be talking about today. You gain essential business skills. We work very closely with telecommunications industry partners with whom we have a symbiotic relationship. They tell us what they're seeking in skill sets for the students they're hiring from our program. We communicate to them what we're teaching, and we work together so that we're incorporating in the educational end things that employers are wanting new hires to have, and we also receive from them components that we can then incorporate into our curriculum to better supply a knowledgeable workforce. And part of that is having business skills. having etiquette, having nuance, understanding how to research features so that you can be better informed in your communications with prospective employers and as an employee. The impact of regulation on industry is a significant feature that we offer and require in our program. It allows students to understand that business doesn't exist in a vacuum, that the forces of regulations in the U.S. marketplace and the global marketplace have a bearing on your operations, on supply and demand, on so many features of conducting your business well, proactively, and forward-thinking for future regulations that may be arising, trade deals, etc., that may impact how you conduct your business and how you might be forward-thinking as a new employee to come up with solutions. The hands-on training that I mentioned before, when you are a distance student, you have a virtual engagement with technology. And again, the security component lends itself to that because there's so much that can translate digitally in that arena. Similarly, for the policy and strategy realm, it's a lot of theory, it's a lot of consideration of practices, best practices that can help you to craft ideas for better communication or for better understanding. And that also lends itself to a distance component of learning. As a master's or a doctoral student, you'll learn to analyze relevant issues, create solutions for secure systems, and again, that harkens back to the fact that you have hands-on training. In our Security Operations Center, which is newly created, an ITP, students are actually working on real-time solutions for the university or for other components. And that's really exciting for students to be able to understand along the way work that is related to what is going on in industry. Similarly, in the wireless arena, there's hands-on activity that goes on in those labs. And then, of course, as I just mentioned, the regulatory piece and the policy piece is a component of what you're going to gain in that focus area. The ability to be a conduit between business and regulation and a technical team so that everybody has an understanding of what solutions are possible, what constraints are in play, and how to merge those two together towards solutions. And again, the distance education piece. So the security piece, as I've mentioned, and the policy and strategy track truly do lend themselves to distance learning. Several of our other classes can be taken online, and they're indicated as such on our website. So if there's something you have a burning desire to learn, you can add that to your curriculum, study, if it's outside of the focus track in which you've been admitted. So why would you want to do distance education being on campus? Many times we have people who are already in a secure employment situation. They may have established themselves in a community and they don't want to leave it, but they want to have the opportunity to grow intellectually and professionally. We see many mid-level folks coming into this program in the distance realm. Of course, if you're in a job and you have benefits and you're relying on them, being able to maintain that is really important. So having the distance opportunity to learn eases that anxiety about having an opportunity to learn and not having to uproot your life. Our faculty are really one of the treasures of our program. 100% of our faculty have professional work experience and are experts in the arena in which they teach. We have full-time on-campus faculty, and we also have adjunct faculty members. For example, Jim Lansford is an expert in wireless, and he teaches in the springtime, but he brings the pulse of business in that arena to the students for discussion, presentation, and learning. Class participation is live in some classes. In most cases with ITP's educational pieces, it is not simultaneous learning, but it is a recorded session of a class that has occurred the same day. It allows you to participate in the class at your leisure. Of course, we do have a component that is oftentimes adhered to, which is that distance learners do not get an alternate schedule for returning their homework. You have to keep up with the class as is indicated on the syllabi. So how do you get started? It's really pretty easy. 36 credit hours is required for the full master's degree, and most of the classes are 3 credit hours each. Every 3 credit hour class requires approximately 20 hours worth of work for research, study, listening to lectures, and other presentation pieces that you may have to prepare. So in most cases, people who are pursuing distance learning are doing it on a part-time basis. We do have options in the fall, spring, and summer, and we do, in our track system, have a schedule of which allows you to have your core information first, leading up to more extensive classes as you go through the curriculum. This allows you to have the right foundation from class to class. The application deadline is December 1, and that is when we'd like to see you at least begin your online application. It doesn't require that you complete it by that date, but starting it by that date can help us to process your application and reply to you on your candidacy as quickly as possible. You can also start as a non-degree seeking student if you're not quite certain you're prepared or can manage taking a full-time master's degree course of study. This allows you to consider how this fits in with your lifestyle, your work obligations, your family obligations. Up to 9 credit hours can be transferred towards the master's degree if you take them on a trial basis and then attempt to transfer them into the MS. You still have to go through the process of being admitted, but it allows you to take the work that you've previously done and apply it towards the master's degree. I'm happy to answer any questions that any of our participants may have, and encourage you to reach out to me, Elizabeth Golder, if something arises that you want to discuss at a later time. Do we have any questions in queue? Okay. So we'll just stand by in case something arises. Do you have any participants right now? So just a little background, ITP has been around for 45 years. We have over 3,000 alumni. That allows you access to people from a broad variety of the engaged industry pieces that have come before. We have folks in technology and education, in business, in security. We have some really fascinating stories, people who combine their love of space or satellites and that curiosity with our technology components. And many of our graduates have gone on to become entrepreneurs with brand new technologies that they've honed through the course of their studies and professional experience. And we do encourage and guide our students to take advantage of career services and other advising components to sharpen their skill sets, their soft skills, their ability to communicate, the ability to be succinct and concise and precise in their communication in the job hunt and beyond. Well, it seems as though there are no questions pending. Again, I invite you to reach out to me if you have questions that arise later. And again, my name is Elizabeth Golder. I'm the Deputy Director of ITP and Graduate Advisor. And I wish you all a good day. Thank you. Seems like we have a late entry question.
So we have a question. Do we have to go into Boulder to do some labs, or can everything be handled remotely? And what about tuition fees for the networking module?
So the distance component, as I've mentioned, is available only for the focus areas of security and telecommunications policy and strategy. The wireless and network engineering pieces do not at this time lend themselves to distance learning. So those labs are not available as distance. There are lab components in the security arena, and those are available remotely. As far as funding your experience with an ITP, we generally expect that students are going to be fully self-funded. We do offer a limited number of fellowships, and those are distributed on a merit basis. So the best candidates will get the best offers of financial support. The cost depends on what your residency status is. In the College of Engineering, within ITP, we offer a traditional master's program. If you are studying on campus as a non-resident, your educational expenses will be approximately $45,000 US per year. That includes fees, tuition, living expenses. Most of our students do get by with less expense than that number, but you know, you need to be prepared for what those costs may be. And if you are a distance learner, the costs are relatively the same on a tuition basis, but the fee structure is going to be vastly different because you're not availing yourself of the on-campus benefits. Right, thank you so much.